Ayo, what you cooking?
Welcome to Lend Me a Fiver podcast, where we have conversations with people who have had successful journeys. Please make sure you subscribe and share this video so we can hear, and we also want you to comment who you want to see next, what careers you want to have on here, so we can really get these gems out to you and get these stories out. Today I want to welcome the special guest, who's the landlord of Jukebox Studios. You know what I'm saying? The landlord. Savagedan, you get me? So, you know what's crazy is because this studio that we're in now, where we're hosting this podcast, it's seen so many, it's been part of so many success stories, right? Yeah. From Western to Chuckies Halfcast podcast, amongst that's to name a few. But you really provide a platform for different people to just elevate themselves and get their message out there, whether it's music, podcasts, or whatever it may be. You got a show on the official Chelsea channel, yeah. And as a Chelsea fan, that must be
crazy. It's crazy. It hasn't even really sunk in. That was sinking at some point in the future.
The official Chelsea channel. And I know you. I mean, just in conversation with you, I know you got a history in boxing. You know what I'm saying, that you used to box, and you got your own podcast with Paul Malignaggi, who's like a bloody legend in this boxing team. He's a world champion at 2 weight classes. And alongside that, you got brand partnerships with Puma, JD Sports, amongst a few, and that's just to name a few. It's impressive, really. So, what's interesting is how did you get from because obviously you started as a studio engineer, right? Yeah. So it'll be interesting to kind of understand that journey of how you have kind of managed to build that portfolio. It's such a diverse portfolio, but kind of from, I mean, even just thinking about it, even you're in crypto as well. You got a passion for that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you dabble, basically.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm in everything.
Just let's hear a bit about your upbringing, because you're a West London guy.
Yeah, I'm from here. I'm from Ladbroke Grove.
Okay.
Growing up here, I was just, do you know what? I was one of the boys in the ends kind of thing, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's just I was mischievous. I'd say got up to no good sometimes and all of that, but I had certain things that I always loved and would always, no matter what kind of badness or whatever it is I was getting up to, I always, regardless, was watching Match of the Day.
Yeah, football too.
Was always watching boxing.
Did you ever
going boxing? What do you mean? I'm a baller.
Oh, you can play. Yeah.
I'm going football straight after this.
Yeah. I used to play.
My first training session back.
I need to get back out there though. Still.
Like me, I'm someone I'll play hopefully till God willing. I'm 45. I'll play in the veterans league.
It's a good way to keep the fitness levels.
It's how I get my endorphins. It really is. Like the other day was the first day I played football for a long time. Obviously, we've been in lockdown, no football, no nothing, whatever it is. It was the first time driving home when you feel like, I've done something. Yeah, that feeling of some people get it from the gym, but I'm not really good at gym going. Yeah. You see, I don't really like to bang 4 plates and all of that. And
so I like the thing about football for me is that you get that exciting cardio. Because you are burning. Yeah. But you're not even thinking about it because you've got a different goal.
There's a ball. I don't know why.
You're trying to win.
Yeah,
fair enough.
So for me, I loved football, loved boxing, loved music, obviously. Them days it was kind of like the grime culture.
So you went school around Ladbroke Grove area?
Nah. So basically I went to a school in Harrow at first.
Okay. So Harrow is like north, isn't it?
Northwest. Okay. Yeah, it's on the outskirts. It just kind of hugs London. It's got a HA postcode. Yeah. And moved to Grove.
So was there no chance of you being any professional level? Was that a consideration?
It wasn't considered, but when I say it was on the cards, I just went it's still on the cards. It's still on the cards.
You're suffering up for all the Chelsea man.
I'm just on the wrong. I'm on the wrong side of my age. I'm only gonna get 1-year contracts from now on in.
You might have to do the soccer A thing though.
So there's something brewing. I
realise there's a bag of man in there that feel like they're getting there.
Yeah,
this the life they didn't get to live.
Yeah, exactly. But in reality, I probably could have gone pro. I don't know what level, but I kind of never took football serious like that. I just enjoyed playing it.
Yeah.
We always in Grove, we've got loads of pitches. So growing up, I always was at pitches playing all the time. Do you see what I'm saying? So from there, that's why I'm kind of a bit of a jack of all trades, I guess, because I just like more than one thing, and I do more than one thing. You throw me a baseball bat, I'll probably be half decent at baseball. I don't know why. I was just able to kind of pick things up relatively fast. Started engineering. Well, I only started engineering because I broke my leg.
So hold on, but so you kind of didn't even feel to pick up a, because normally the first thing when people like music is to pick up a mic.
No, I'm a borrower. Yeah.
What you say? You spit, yeah?
Bro, like from early doors, it wasn't my first love. Sports was always my first love, but you know when everyone in an area starts spitting,
Yeah, exactly.
you just got to at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did that, youth clubs, all of that kind of stuff. And then I broke my leg, so it meant no pirate radio, no youth club, no nothing. I was terrible on crutches, basically. I don't know why, but like I wasn't good. I wasn't good at going far places on crutches. I know people that are on crutches that are really about, but I just found it difficult.
Yeah.
So I ended up not doing all of that, and I just stayed in my house, got like a really dead setup, and started trying to learn to like make music from my bedroom.
But that was more for you to make your own songs.
It was more for me to make my own songs. Okay. But then naturally, when your friends realize, oh, he's got a studio in his room, it starts, and then it goes slightly beyond them. And before you know it, it's your friends that want to record. And all of a sudden, I was charging people.
Oh, yeah, you were charging.
Not my friends, but I started charging people who I didn't know who wanted to record, because it took me a while. But after a while, I learned how to mix pretty well.
Your parents must have been cool, boy.
I lived on my own.
Is it?
All right, yeah, that's the one I missed out. So I moved out at, I think I must have been 19, latest.
Wow, okay.
Moved out, so that's probably part of why I was a little bit more out here. I didn't have home to go and answer to my mum.
Yeah, you could just free.
I could do what I want, basically. 19 years old, I can do what I want, go where I want, come home, however I want.
Yeah.
So it changed. Like it was good. It's like God broke my leg for me. Honestly,
it changed the game for you.
It changed everything for me. It did. So, all of a sudden, I didn't realize it at the time, but I was slowly almost creating a business. And at the time, if you had asked me what I was gonna be, probably, you know, in my early 20s, I would have probably turned around and said, "Oh no, I'm gonna box."
If we kind of missed that though.
Yeah,
you were boxing this.
Yeah,
in the gym training.
And I was like, I boxed for Hollerton ABC.
Okay, so you were like at a
and
level,
then I moved to Del Youth, and then but I'm doing everything at the same time. It was like I was spreading myself quite thin. So I'm boxing, playing football, doing whatever I'm doing as well. At home, it wasn't hard for me to be an engineer at home because I'm already at home.
You self-teach yourself that?
Yeah, them times there wasn't really anything on YouTube.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
There wasn't, in fact, them times there was barely anything on YouTube. Just them silly videos, nothing really educational, nothing. It wasn't a YouTube like it was today.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah, so that was like the birth of it. It was like that was where it kind of began. I was always like I was always quite outspoken, confident. Football probably gave me that without even realizing it. But I was always just like, I don't know, I could make friends easily. I don't know. I've got the gift of the gab, I suppose. And then flipping, how it happened was my missus got pregnant.
How old are you?
25.
Okay. I mean, it's not that.
It's not old. It's not young. Yeah. So that happened, and all of a sudden, I almost have a mini decision to make, because I've been living kind of only caring about myself for so long, just doing whatever I want. I just don't really care about what's going on around me. I've just only got me to look out for.
Cool.
Now it begins to change. You're not getting up to do any runs. You're not. Boxing starts to fade away from me, kind of thing. But I had already also had, you know, like almost a business model that I'd created by accident in the studio. So I went, there's only a few roads from here actually. I went and I got a unit down the road and started building a studio in there.
So when you say you got a unit, was that like a rental?
It's a rented unit, probably the size of this room. And I got it cheap at the time. At them days, I don't know why, but there was a lot more commercial buildings. You could almost negotiate your price with people. It wasn't like what it is now, where it almost feels like that price is set and it's very it's concrete. This is Grove, and you used to be able to kind of barter. So I went in there and I kind of like, I just haggled with them. I just like, no, I want this, or I'll do it for this price. Almost as if I was trying to suggest they needed my business more than anything.
And your equipment level, was it upgraded, or you literally just
I
basic?
upgraded. So I had, luckily, like I had a few grand kind of floating around, and I just thought, I'm just gonna throw it at the studio. I'm just gonna try and see what happens. At the time I had a few clients, I guess, but now it was time to like be able to accept everyone, because there was loads of people that would ask to come to studio, which is at my house. I'll be like, no, because there's only so many people you can have coming into your home.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's a bit mad. I was gonna say, you're open to that, boy, because like the randoms, I'm not even.
But it wasn't randoms. I made sure you came through specific sources and like you were not almost vetted, but it's just like, I can't have any weirdos or any ops or any. You
just never know like what man are looking to take the studio out.
So like luckily that was kind of plain sailing, and then opened the studio up, and it wasn't even long. I'm not even sure if we fully had a booth yet by the time Into got made.
Okay, so because Into's a Western tune, yeah.
That's probably their biggest, probably best-selling.
Best-selling record they've done, yeah. But how do you know them?
I grew up with Louis.
Okay,
pretty much. So
he's a local boy.
Yeah. He's from down the road. Like that's my guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Obviously Aki and Hailey, they're cousins. I didn't know them really before. I knew of Akel, but that's through like weird circles in West London and all of that. But out of nowhere.
So they were recording when you were listening in your yard.
Not Akel and Hailey. Louis though. Louis has probably got 100,000 tunes that no one's ever heard. All on my computer.
You got the roster.
Yeah. So so they've come through. Into got made fast.
In the unit.
Yeah. Out of nowhere.
Is it?
Out of nowhere.
So then you must have been, by then, because it was, did they kind of update the level of the engineering for the final release, or was that the version?
Not really. No, the first version changed. You had to change the beat slightly and do.
Did you produce it?
A few legal bits. Nah, I didn't produce it.
Okay.
But there was like things to tie up basically and make sure. But at the time, that was one of those songs that I don't even know if there was anything like it. At the time when that came out and it was just like,
it was different.
It was different, and somehow it was still kept this hood credibility. It was a weird one. It was it was the crossover. It really was.
Coming like that. That's what the Americans have been doing it. Kind of, but the UK.
Yeah, but really. Here it was like the first one that everyone was just like, nah, we're all fucking with it. Like we all like it. And because of it, like things change, for the studio. I'm guessing it seems silly, but people want to record in places where they've heard successful records come out of, or successful podcasts or whatever 100%. It is.
It's like if AJ was boxing in a gym, that's AJ. AJ trains there.
That's all of a sudden,
it's got credibility.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that helped the studio. Obviously, they've gone on to do madness. Get me headline here, there, all over the place. Wireless, blah 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 blah. But were you part of that journey? In that, were you their engineer? Or not necessarily. No. So I like obviously it's always that, but I'm busy as well, and also they are all monsters, musical monsters. So when I say Hailey can produce and engineer, so can Akel. That's what I'm saying. Like they don't need me much. Even when their sessions here, they still have sessions here all the time. They don't need me. They don't need me. That's what I'm saying. That they grew up around music. They know this game. They really do. Okay. But then obviously at the same time as that, like literally parallel to that is, so Hailey has then told Chucky about the studio.
Okay.
And it was kind of already set for podcasts in a weird way.
Which is interesting because what year was this?
15?
Because for me, at that stage, there weren't really no podcasts.
There was nothing.
So why was it set up for that?
It was in a weird. When I say it was a set
so
up
you
for
didn't have that in mind.
I didn't have it in mind. It was just ready for it.
This studio that we're in.
No.
Okay.
It was 4 studios before this. This is the 4th one that's built.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
But when I say it was set up for it, it was a room kind of like this, different like shape, but it had like a similar ambience. But you had sofas kind of opposite each other, almost just like if this is here, and
Okay,
another
yeah,
one of
yeah,
these
okay.
over there. Obviously you had mics around because you needed a selection of mics for recording vocals, but they could double up as conversational mics.
Yeah, of course.
So Chucky has said that he wants to do a podcast.
It's random, innit?
Chucky had done a couple podcasts already, but I think
Is
he was
it?
doing them alone on his SoundCloud.
He was new to this thing.
But he was ahead.
Way ahead.
A conversation man from before anyone was having conversations.
Yeah, way ahead.
So, they've come in. That was the first ever podcast in the studio. And then a couple followed after.
Okay, and that's so in the unit.
Yeah.
You had the first podcast, and that's not the same podcast he's doing today, is it?
Yeah.
It is.
Halfcast.
Wow. So, okay, so at this point, you've got quite a few. You got a lot of business coming in, or like regular traffic as far as studio time. 1 or 2 podcasts. Is that the podcast industry going
At
for you?
that point, there's people dipping their toes into podcasting, but not really understanding what it is.
Okay.
I think you see, it hadn't really been done before. No one really understands how to do it.
Okay.
And a lot of the times, this is before things were on Apple and Spotify. Spotify didn't exist.
Yeah, of course.
So like all of this is a long time ago when people would have to listen via SoundCloud.
Yeah. And for you though, the studio must have been the main or the only hustle at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a couple other
you
hustles.
dabbled. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
there was a couple other hustles, but it was the main
source.
It was the main source. It was when I thought to myself, this is what I'm going to be doing for the foreseeable.
Okay. So when you say this is your fourth studio, talk us through why you moved.
So that first one had to go out of there, had to leave there after a year. That building, the whole building.
Just the lease.
Yeah, it was a lease. All of them have been leases.
I mean, like the lease term, it was up.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it wasn't that. Somebody came in and bought the entire building, decided they was going to turn it into flats.
I mean, that made sense.
So they gave everyone 28 days to get out. They actually didn't even end up getting permission for it. And now that is back to being commercial units. So they kind of kicked us out for no reason.
Is it?
But they redid the whole building, spent a couple of years redoing everything and blah, 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 blah. So on short notice, we had to go to Acton.
Okay.
The thing is, it's not hard to find commercial units, but ones where you're going to, it's the noise pollution.
Yeah. Isn't it like they got to be D1, D2 or something?
Not necessarily, because there's loads of like almost hidden warehousey kind of ones that they almost come with no code, like just do what you want in here. But no one likes noise pollution because, just suppose there is an architect next door who likes to work in silence. If I'm coming in here and just beating off the speakers, then it's not going to be good for him. So they take that into consideration. So I got somewhere in Acton and it was dead.
As in the studio was dead?
Yeah. No, the studio got built up to be okay, but it was in a bit of a dingy place. It was the only thing I could get. It was cheap, but it wasn't what I wanted to stay. I knew I was only going to be there for so long. Luckily, I won't say lucky, but luckily a flood happened.
In that building?
Yeah. And a big flood where I'm talking, like it was up to you're up to your ankles in water.
With your equipment in there?
Luckily, my equipment was on a step higher. So like the way you go into the unit and then you have to go up a step, just one step to the main room. And that part didn't flood. So yeah, because of that, I got out of my contract and I moved to the building that's directly opposite this one here.
The one we're in?
Yeah, opposite the one we're in.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's the same company that have the both.
Okay.
Was there for 2 years. That's where.
And basically people that were recording were following you.
Yeah,
they were like,
yeah.
They kind of like your.
It's recording studios and engineers and all of that. They're pretty much like they are like barbershops, and you just follow your barber. Do you see what I'm saying? Your loyalty is less to the room and more to the individual kind of thing.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, built that up. Was there for a couple of years, and that was when that room started to become very big because this was when podcasts started filming.
Okay.
I'd say probably 2017.
Okay, and at this point, you're happy with the space though?
I'm happy with the space, but because it's only one room, hello. Stop phoning me, man. Who's this? Like someone's phoning me like 8 times. Like, fuck off, man. Weirdos. Yeah, flipping. Because of the room was only one room, so to speak, it meant that, you know, everyone's after the same time. Podcasters typically, you know, after work, they want to do their podcasts then, you know, between 7 and the latest 11 p.m. That is the sweet spot. However, everyone is trying to fit into these time slots. Artists are getting pissed off because they also like evenings, and it became very difficult to kind of manage. I'm having to bat away a lot of business, like having to bat away xfactor, having to bat away like
xfactor wanted to record in the studio.
Yeah, like
how do does it become like that noticeable?
I think it's just after a while, like word of mouth gets around that there's studios here or there's someone here who does this and blah 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 blah, and it just happened over a period of time where it became probably like the most popular studio, like maybe in London. It probably is now.
Yeah.
So there was just so much things happening in there, and it was different because then I was probably one of the only people that had recording studios and podcast studios that was from this world, you know, that wasn't charging £100 an hour for it and blah blah
and what
blah.
about when you say xfactor? What do they? Is it like the final song they do?
No, so it was
I ain't watched it in a while.
They wanted to record a few songs. So you know how they get to the point where they start doing original songs.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was like that. They wanted to send in one of whoever's in what.
It's like the final, like semi-final.
They've usually got bigger studios that they use down the road called Psalm, like big Island Record studios, but they must have been running out. But as in either way, I was having to turn away so much work every day that all of a sudden it's like, all right, if it's time to grow, because I'm probably doing myself more harm than good.
Yeah, but I'm assuming those xfactor numbers are different to like, have you got a studio?
Yeah. So,
but did you know in terms of like what you were charging?
Yeah.
Did you know? Were you aware of like pricing structure or what the true cost of to a company like xfactor? No,
at the time, no, and I probably made a mistake by having prices on websites because. Because then people are phoning with the information that they've seen online, regardless of who they are. So the quick fix for that was to say, if you're unsigned and you're just a regular coming in, these are your prices. If you are a brand, a professional, any kind of something else, you speak, we'll speak and we'll work out what the price is basically.
Please contact.
Yeah, please contact us. Yeah,
please.
We are able to
contact
us
button.
Yeah, we are flexible.
Them ones are the scary ones. You know the price is coming, bro. You get me?
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, I don't really care that much for big names, big brands, because I honestly, to begin with, kind of made the studio because the ends needed it. My area needed it. That you either have youth clubs or you have really expensive studios in an area where everyone wants to be a musician. Like there was no real middle ground. So that's why no matter what this becomes or where it goes, the prices will always be like reasonable. So competitive.
Yeah, reasonable.
Just because I tried to create the studio I probably needed when I was younger.
Okay.
And yeah, like it just went from there. So I needed to grow. Somehow this place obviously turned up and it was 5 times the size of the last one I was in, 3 times the rent.
Why did you move there?
Why did I move? Yeah. Because I needed to grow.
Okay.
I wanted to stay local. Okay. It was a big...
So it was more of a, this came up and you're like, this is...
Yeah, it was risky because what I wanted to grow to was just one more room. And have 2 studios next door to each other.
And also, you're not getting these as studios, just for the record.
Yes,
like
you
are putting work, you are creating this space.
Yeah. So it's just one huge kind of warehouse.
Yeah. So like, for example...
There was no electricity. There was no... Yeah,
like,
down here there was no nothing.
Partition the walls, soundproof doors.
Everything.
And all of that. So as far as like these sofas, the soundproofing, hearing, was that an architect? Did you get a like?
No, I'm the architect.
I
am the architect.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, to be fair, I used to do stuff like this when I was like 10 years old. Like, you know, like I would do this thing where I'd draw out my bedroom and kind of design redesign my bedroom on a piece of paper,
Okay.
work out if it's gonna work before I move stuff around.
So
I always had that kind of mind where actually no, that will work. So there was pillars inside, and I kind of used those pillars to create the wall so that you don't just have a pillar in the middle of the room, obviously. And
honestly, I can't even picture that
this place looked massive. If you was standing there and trying to speak to somebody who is now on the other side of the other room, it was just like, it felt like miles away. It felt massive.
But even just the lighting, like in that studio, the walls, everything just looks so like.
It's because when you got a blank canvas, and luckily I had my guy, man, Connor, who he has a lighting company. Not just lighting, he does loads of things like big projects, like Phoebus Design they're called, and they do loads of sick stuff. Like, you know, when you go into those houses and the houses look perfect, everything is done to perfection. They do stuff like that. So he was just nice in me when it comes to lighting and ideas and stuff like that. So in terms of it being, he's more extravagant. I'm just saying it's a recording studio. He's like, no, let's have the four lights coming down and make it ambient. And then I'm just saying, no, just put strip lights. He's just like, yeah, but you want like color changing ones. And
these lights are dope as well.
You see what I'm saying? So he is as much here.
This was like this was like a big budget thing though.
But for me, I got the absolute pattern from him. As in, like, it would have been 10 bags just on lighting. The whole thing's cost well into six figures, like to build well into six figures. But it's all part of it. You know what I'm saying? I went broke 10 times doing it, but luckily, because whilst this was being built, I was able to do sessions across the road. So I'd literally make money across the road, come in here, build stuff and pay builders and do this. And so I was able to.
That was a risk though, wasn't it?
It was a big risk. And my daughter was being born at this point as well. Literally I paid that deposit. And when this place became available, I didn't know if it was the correct price. So for example, because we're underground, no natural light, you get a slightly subsidized fee. Now, when I looked at it on the website, I thought it was meant to be £1,000 more. I thought they put maybe a wrong figure in. So I've walked across the road. There was security here, and I said, Unit 24. I'm seeing it on the website, and he's like, "There's no Unit 24." He said, "I've worked there 20 years. There's no such thing." So I'm like, "Bro, it's here." Like I'm showing him the website. He's like, "Come with me." We walked in. He's come down here. We've seen Unit 24. He's just like, "Bro, that's never said 24 on it ever before. This was like a big storage unit for the building, so it wasn't in use before." And I was just like, "Can you check the price on your system just to make sure that it's all that it's the correct price?" He said, "Yep." And I just said, "You know what? It's too much of an opportunity for me to miss. I'd rather struggle for the next 6 months trying to work out how I'm gonna get the money right for it." But I paid the deposit literally like that from the hospital when I was going to the midwife appointment or whatever it is.
So that's what I'm saying. But what made you take that? Like, I'm gonna take this. It's a gamble.
Yeah, but I'm a risk taker.
Okay,
that's me. I'm taking risks every way I can. Only place I'm not, centre midfield. That's the only place I'm trying to take minimal risk.
You're not trying to lose the ball, bro. You're no Granit Xhaka. That's what you need to speak. You need to speak to Xhaka, bro.
I don't know what it is, but when the DM gets on the ball and loses the ball, somehow it's a goal. Bro, even though there's another line of defense to get through.
Granit Xhaka, bro. The most goals have come from since he joined the league, bro. That's what I'm saying. Because when you lose the ball, because you're not supposed to, bro.
Yeah.
You're the protector. You're the protector. Peace, bro.
But even then, even if you lose the ball, you're supposed to then have another line of defense and then a keeper.
Yeah, but
I don't know why.
I feel like everybody's at ease though.
Yeah.
So when you lose it, they're not even
it's a bad
expecting it because they're thinking we're going forward. Now all of a sudden, bruv, like this brother's breaking. Yeah.
So yeah, and then it's just gone on. It's just gone from strength to strength, and then Savagedan come out of it and all of that.
Why Savage? Where'd you get that?
That's a new name, to be fair. I've had growing up in the end. Do you know how every end has a Biggs?
Yeah, bro. I got the most nicknames. I don't even know.
So I was called Biggie growing up.
Yeah.
But then I had different names. I've had too many names. But Savagedan was actually given to me on 3 shots of tequila.
So they shoot here as well sometimes, yeah?
Yeah, so the first 70 episodes were all shot with me.
Yeah, 70?
Yeah. I was on pretty much the first 50, all of them.
Wow.
They were wild because no one was filming. You could kind of say what you want and nothing was really gonna... You see like how now people can catch clips and get the video, take things out of context, and them times no one knew who savagedan was, so no one knew what I looked like.
So who said it?
Who's
the
who
guy?
aired it out?
Who gave you who christened the name?
It might have been might have been Taser,
Yeah.
or it might have been Keith, and that person who was trying to call me right now was Taser. Imagine that. But yeah, I can't remember who it was, but that's where savagedan came from, because I was just
On one. Okay, so
Yeah.
you weren't holding back, basically.
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, so at this point now, so you've got the regular clients now, whether it's musicians, podcasts. Let's talk about how you kind of start to build those brand partnerships. So, because for me, obviously, even if you've kind of got those regular customers, you're doing well.
Yeah.
When you start to bridge those brand names,
Yeah.
right? So how do you get into the room with those household names, those Pumas, those JDs?
Yeah.
Like, how does that come about?
I'll get that. That probably came about directly through Filthy Fellas. So
they were filming it as well.
no. So Filthy Fellas, obviously, Poet he started it. That's his baby kind of thing.
Wasn't he with someone else?
Who?
Or does he do it himself? Or?
No. So yeah, it's with someone else. So
Yeah.
but it was his idea to begin with.
Okay.
But then Tigo and the Rewind lot, they
Okay.
shoot it, and they produce it as a whole, and obviously I'm with Poet on Halfcast.
Okay. So actually you're actually on Halfcast on the regular.
Yeah. So what happened was, from the beginning, I'm talking from the second week in 2015. I didn't have a mic, but you hear me in the background just being like, nah. Like when they're talking about shit, I'm saying the wild shit.
Ad-libs.
But you can hear it, but I'm not mic'd. And then every comment is saying, Mike Dan.
Mike Dan.
So yeah. So all of a sudden, it don't take long before I've got a mic and I'm actually
in it.
full on in the podcast. But then because of that, I don't know why people would either love or hate my opinions. It would polarize people, innit?
Yeah.
And yeah, because of that, Poet asked me to come on Filthy Fellas. So
Early days, yeah.
Early-ish. I think this would have been 2017-ish.
Mm.
So I've gone on there, and better people gone Filthy Fellas. It's not like a thing, but I've gone on there, and for whatever reason, it's worked. And then,
So it actually took off before Halfcast.
what, Filthy Fellas?
Mm.
I would say they was going alongside each other, because Poet was kind of at the helm of both of them. Do you see what I'm saying? Kind of. Those are the two places you was guaranteed to find Poet. And Poet was probably like the first one from our world ever to cross over into sports, into football, into mixing music and football.
Was that as in podcast wise, yeah?
As in everything wise, like he had a relationship with bare footbl players.
Okay.
He would interview them. He
Okay,
was like
is
the
it,
first sports influencer from our world, easily.
Okay.
And
how did you meet Poet then?
from Halfcast, but secretly me and Poet are cousins.
Okay, one of them.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad.
It's like that.
Yeah.
So Chucky knew him, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
Brought him. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But obviously everyone's known Poet.
Yeah,
For like the last 15 years.
He's from these sides, yeah.
No, Poet's from North.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so because London's small, and once you're in a certain community, you all rub shoulders at some kind of point. But then obviously Filthy Fellas I'm on that, and it's a football show, but a lot of times I'm speaking boxing. JD come knocking, and
they literally just approached.
That's it, and it helps that there's people in these circles that are connected with JD. Tigo who produces Filthy, produces a lot of JD stuff.
Okay.
So that helped. And then so then we had a boxing show.
And prior to this though, you're watching boxing. You're just not
exactly
involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, like everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but all of a sudden now, out of nowhere,
I bet on a boxing night, and there's, you know what I'm saying.
That's it. And now I'm at the boxing nights.
Okay.
So me, Steve-O, and at the time it was Adam McCullough.
And Steve-O, the comedian, yeah.
Yeah, the madman. He's not even a comedian, but
the
madman.
Yeah,
he probably is. He is a comedian.
I thought that's what he does, like the.
But he doesn't do stand up.
No,
but
he
yeah,
does
he's
skits,
skits. Yeah.
But But why is he in boxing though? What's his background in it?
He don't have a background in boxing.
He's a personality.
Yeah, he's a big personality,
Okay,
of
makes
course.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So when JD approached you, they said they wanted you to come live and commentate, basically.
It wasn't commentate. We had our own show called Weighed In.
Okay.
So we would, JD obviously were heavy in boxing. They had a lot of fighters, and we would go to fights, speak with fighters. We represented JD kind of on the ground, if that makes sense, and just we were their boxing arm, or we presented their boxing arm.
Okay. Okay.
And that's still going on to now.
So just in terms of partnerships, outside of that, were there any partnerships that you initiated, or they've literally?
I have never initiated a partnership.
Wow.
No.
So they reach out.
Not even a relationship.
You're just accessible.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm savagedan. He's our guy. Because in Chelsea, that's a big. That's massive.
So here's the thing. So this is where like things just begin to happen. One of the big guys at Chelsea loves Filthy Fellas.
Oh, okay. Like when you say big guys, what's his role?
Like
he's not a brand.
No.
If he's a brand, I'll be like, bro, this is a doctor movie, bro. How about that? We'll shoot the thing at your crib every week, bro.
Nah, but one of like the producers likes Filthy Fellas and understands Filthy Fellas is risky in terms of you can't do that from a brand perspective, but you could take parts of it and create something, and there was an opportunity to. In fact, the first time I worked with them, he gave me a call. He said we're doing like a drive.
So they're just DMing at this point. Like, oh yeah.
No, a phone call.
Okay.
Got my number from someone. Gave me a call, and obviously it's Chelsea, isn't it? Like you
when
call
they call
me.
you, are you confused when you get them kind of calls?
By this point, I wasn't. I got this call. I tell you when I got this call. I was in Loughborough. I was with Dillian White.
So you got a personal relationship with him?
No,
from the JD
yeah.
team?
So I was doing brand stuff with JD. I'm in Loughborough. I think just before he fought Oscar Rivas. Maybe I think it was Oscar Rivas. Okay. I'm at the train station on the way back. I get a phone call from Chelsea saying, would you like to come and do this? I'm like, yeah, of course.
How do they know you're a Chelsea? Oh, just based on your views, they know you're a big Chelsea fan.
Yeah, and based on Filthy. Remember, they pay attention. Filthy Fellas is a football show combined with cussing
and you're
matches.
backing Chelsea hard.
And I'm backing Chelsea hard.
Yeah.
So they know. I think every brand knows when they contact me that I know where I can be savagedan and where I have to rein it in.
A bit corporate.
Not even necessarily corporate, because put it this way, it's a fine line, because they've come to me because of how I'm behaving, but they also understand that you might need to dumb it down just a touch, and I get it though. I understand that as well. And then Chelsea's I've had a relationship with Chelsea for. Well, since I was born, do you see what I'm saying? Like that's
so you go
that's
to the
my
games?
club. Yeah, I love Chelsea Football Club. That's my thing.
The hooligans, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Are you jumping on it? Bro, listen, I remember going to a game once, with my guys, Bumik and Hamid, bro. Like we go to the Arsenal games, and it was a Chelsea, and we're in the Emirates, so Chelsea Arsenal, bro. Like we parked up the car. And we're walking, and we just see this entourage of police coming. So we're thinking, what's going on here? We just pause. Bro, the army behind, bro. Do you know how shook I was, bro? Like, watch it, because you see when they walk past us, like, normally when a man gives you eye contact, you kind of look like, but this time, I was like, you see my... Listen, they were aggressive.
Football hooligans, man.
They were looking at man like all of this, yeah? You see my scarf? Like, I was just trying to like
the collar up.
I'm Arsenal, but I'm not Arsenal. I'm not looking to die. You know what I'm saying? I could be Chelsea. It's calm, like it's not that deep for me, bro.
Yeah, that's what it is.
They were like they're because they're on the drink and then they just on one. Like for them, they just see blue.
And Chelsea Arsenal is a big derby,
bro, it's a big game.
You know what it is, man.
It's a big game, bro. So that so then because obviously you hear about the hooligan thing, but when you see these guys, you're like, nah, these brothers are mad.
Yeah,
like they're
maniacs.
They're genuinely mad
maniacs.
Like they were just looking at man like they like we didn't want
we
didn't want no smoke, bro.
Yeah. But they want you to want smoke. That's what it is.
Even with the feds there.
Yeah, of course.
I reckon they reckon they could get a couple of bags.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so the Chelsea situation's a bit crazy. Yeah, so all right, so you got those. So really, the brands are finding you. That's kind of a blessing in a way.
Yeah, it is. I think that's how it works now, though. In terms of, we're in this new, I don't know, influencer kind of weird place in life where brands almost know who they're looking at. And for me, I fit Chelsea's profile, I guess, because the first thing you're going to have to be is a passionate Chelsea fan. If you want to have anything to do with Chelsea, I'm guessing you're going to have to be that. Yeah, second of all, they wouldn't have looked at me if they didn't think I was popular enough or whatever it is. I probably represent a change they're trying to make in terms of we know what, like, for example, the hooliganism and what connotations come with that, and what it probably makes sense for them to come and ask me to be part of whatever they're doing. Do you see what I'm saying? So, and I'm always gonna say, yeah, bro, I love Chelsea, like, through and I'll pay to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, one of them.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
I've had a couple of business trips like that.
Yeah,
exactly. I'll be in Singapore with my feet up and
that's it.
The sun.
You're like, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this.
Bro, that's exactly what I'm like.
Damn,
am I
and that's what it feels like a lot nowadays. It feels like I don't know if I should be getting paid to do what I do, whether it be boxing, whether it be football, whether it be all of these
to be fair,
things.
I think football punditry is like one of the best careers, bro. Yeah. Because it's just like, I'm getting paid to give my opinion on something I was going to watch anyway. And I would have had an opinion anyway.
So that there, what you just said is probably my key to life. I've tried my hardest to only do the things I enjoy. So there's been loads of opportunities I've batted away. Loads. Because yes, there's a bag, but I'm really bad at doing stuff that I don't like doing. So everything I'm in now, it's not an accident. You know, like, I love boxing, I love music, I love football. I just so happen to be lucky enough to get paid by all three. Yeah, the stars definitely aligned for you. But yeah, as in half of it's luck, half of it's almost determination. The other half of it is me kind of, I'm not a great, well, I'm academic, but I'm not a great, I wouldn't survive very long in an office job just because I need to be doing stuff.
So what about your networking though? Are you kind of like, say for example, you're at those events?
I'm a terrible networker.
Is it? So you're not even like making those connections?
Well, not deliberately. Anyway, I'm not deliberately making those connections. If it happens and I meet someone and I'm talking, I'll be like, okay, it's organic. But you see, I'm not one of those people who, and it's good when people do it, but I just don't have it in me to be able.
I'm that guy that if I see a person and I have a conversation and I don't make it happen, I'm baffled. Yeah. Like, what the hell was I doing today? Like, did I not bring my A? I with my A side up.
So, for example, if Drake walked in right now, I'll spud him, but I'll carry on my podcast and you're going to have to wait outside till we're done. But with
bro,
me,
just about every guy, bro, literally, I'm approaching everyone.
Yeah, I hate
like Leo, bro, I see Leonardo DiCaprio once in Catch, New York, Yeah. Bro, he was on a table, a couple tables down. Like, my brother was like, you know, that's Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm like, nah, you're chatting breeze, bro. I was like, I'll just watch Revenant on the flight here, bro. Like, it can't be him, not Leo D. And you know what I'm saying?
I don't even like that film, man.
I'm like, but it's still, like Leo, innit? I'm like, Leo D. Like, that man you don't expect to see anywhere. Like, them man are like unicorns, bro. Yeah. So I've said, nah. But then I've just gone, like, get the alcohol. I'm trying to get straighten up, like, no, for real. That's him, you know? Yeah. I'm going. I'm heading straight to him. Security like, is this brother man? You know, they just tried to intercept man, but he was like, no, let him through. Because obviously he's confused. Yeah. He didn't know what's going on. Bro, I'm just trying to chat to him. Yeah. I just started bigging him up. Yeah. I'm just true. Like, I'm that guy that's like, I just want to have a conversation with anyone. Because obviously for me, it's like, this is what you've achieved. It's great. If I can just learn anything from you, from the conversation that we have, I'm taking.
So you'll probably be the person who would be like, you know, when they give you those, not those dilemmas, but them options where they're just like, would you rather 500 grand or dinner with Jay-Z?
Ooh,
I'm taking the 500.
I'll take the 500. And I like Jay-Z's big though.
Yeah. Or no. I think it's bigger than that. Not dinner, but as in like you get to shadow him for a month.
Oh, a shadow. Yeah. Oh, but 500 is a lot. No, you know what? Make it if it's 100, I'll take the meeting. Because I know that out of that.
But that's why it's 500.
Because if he's open to because if he's open to the opportunities, I am down, bro. Yeah. Like, we'll make it work. Yeah. Like,
and you got a month to butter him up. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. But I'm bringing everything. Flora. I can't believe
I'm taking the money.
Regardless.
Okay,
yeah, different.
Even if it's a month, give me a year with him. I'm just taking the money, bro.
For me, I just think about the potential opportunities on the table.
Yeah, there's big opportunities, but me,
can create
I look at the cash and I'm just like,
you can do so
I'm
much.
looking at the Jay-Z and I'm looking at the potential opportunity, not the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the 500 bags and I'm saying, no, that's an actual 500 bags.
So there's no one really that you can sit down and you won't take the money.
Not 500, not unless it's like there's another guarantee, not just shadowing and potentials and 500 bags. As
It's a
you
lot.
know,
500's a
500
lot,
bags.
though.
You
500
can
I'll
actually,
take,
you know how
500
fast you can flip
500
that.
I'll take. I don't
You
really
can
think that's
flip that.
I think that's the money's too high.
Yeah.
For me to just be like, bro, just give me his number. I'll take
Yeah.
Like, wish you
That's
well.
it.
You get me? But all right, let's say this. But if there was a person, dead or alive,
Yeah.
you can have a meeting with anyone.
Do you know what? I'm not sure if it would be a meeting based.
Just like even casual, not even a
yeah.
just a
So yeah,
just-
not
just a-
even a meeting.
just a meet.
Just to meet. Do you know what? It might genuinely be Muhammad Ali.
Jeez, legend.
One of my two favorite people that are alive right now. I'm gonna say, like, growing up as a Chelsea fan, my hero was Frank Lampard.
So he's quite accessible for you though.
Yeah,
well was
yeah, you get me?
months ago.
Yeah. And I chat to Jody Morris. I love Jody Morris, bro. Like, so good. Like, one of the guys grew up in West.
Yeah.
But I also remember saying that I don't necessarily want to meet Lampard.
Okay,
does that make sense? I almost want him to
be inaccessible.
Almost to remain immortal. You know what happens when your
But so
heroes become your friends?
Yeah, so
and
you
it
must have-
happened like that
so
with
you-
Jody to me.
Yeah, so you must have had mixed emotions about his managerial career though.
Yeah, mixed. Yeah,
Because obviously
100%. But
Football's
also, I understand this sport, and that 1 year at Derby as a manager is not gonna always prepare you for probably the hardest job in football.
That's why I think Henry should only come back when he's ready.
Yeah,
Them man can't
it's
just be-
football's one of, there's a reason the majority of managers are old, because you can't buy experience, you can't fast track it. Experience can only be had over time. Do you see what I'm saying?
And they're just irreversible decisions, bro.
That's
like
it.
You can bring on the subs.
I
everyone's
personally
just like, what?
think we see Lampard again at Chelsea, but
Is it?
after years of experience. If we're looking back at it properly, who gets the Chelsea job? For me, is probably the hardest job in football. It's ruthless.
Yeah, because Abramovich ain't here to play.
He's not. It's a winning club. Like, you're being brought in, regardless of who you are. You're being brought in to win, and now.
But also, most clubs second guess the sacking because of the money. He don't
care. But that's why they've started giving managers 1.5, 1.5 year contracts and that, because they've finally sussed it. Stop paying big compensation.
Yeah, he don't care.
But yeah, him or Mayweather is was my like boxing hero,
Yeah,
and
Mayweather.
even that Mayweather, that's too close for my liking now. As in, like, that is probably doable now. I don't want to meet him because do you know what it is? I don't want to be disappointed or.
But I was happy. Do you know? I was happy to meet Mayweather because before I met him, there's obviously this perception because I knew the character.
Yeah.
Money May.
Yeah.
Which is I love.
Yeah.
I love the character.
Of
People don't
course.
like it. I'm like,
Yeah,
listen,
I love it.
He
I love
deserves
it.
it. He deserves it. He's the fucking G.
Yeah.
I want to see that. I want to see him
100%.
shining, bro.
Yeah.
I want to see it. But when I met him, even though he was shining, bro, he was so down to earth, bro. The love man had was
imagine.
different, bro.
I
I was
can
just like,
imagine.
what? He's so
I got-
approachable.
yeah, one of my guys
he was
proper
chatting
rolls
to
with him
man.
as well.
And I was thinking to myself, nah, it's a character. You
Yeah.
want people to hate you
Yeah. Of course.
because it sells.
Of course.
People tune
Yeah.
in.
Of course.
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So, just in terms of like this studio space and because there's probably a number of people actually I've heard people say they want to open up a studio.
Yeah.
Having a successful podcast, which I know right now is the craze.
Yeah.
What would you say? Like, any advice for people that are going into those
It's
fields?
different advice to what I'd have given 5 years ago, because there's podcast studios popping up left, right, and centre now. Recording studios popping up left, right, and centre. Make sure my situation was a little bit different. There wasn't enough studios, and I already had a clientele from my bedroom. It was half set for me. If you're trying to get into this now, be patient. Have enough cash to get you through some dodgy months. Because it happens.
How do you find? Yeah, because how do you find clients for
exactly?
studios?
They
word of
find
mouth.
you.
Yeah, it's word of
Studios
mouth.
naturally, I don't know why, but they make themselves quite hard to find. Probably because the internet just has so many of them and all of that kind of thing now. So, yeah, you know, you're gonna have to you probably have to, for the first while, sell yourself short a little bit,
Undercut couple.
Yeah, that's it. Undercut people. Have a good service. That's when it's all said and done. Regardless of what the room's pretty, the nice lights, they're coming to leave with a good audio. That's it.
So
you have to provide that.
Right.
You have to provide that. And yeah, just patience, man. Have enough money. Have enough belief. Don't just do it. Don't just do it necessarily to make money. I don't think that's a good enough. Like I don't think that will get you far enough, because everyone's in it just to make a little bit of money. Have something a bit deeper, like a relationship with music already. And if it's not making you as much money as you'd like, you've got a backup plan because you're a producer or you're this or whatever it is. So have something else.
Okay.
And
then what about just like a successful podcast? Because as I said, there's so many people trying to start them.
I think, yeah, a lot of people are starting podcasts just because that seems like the thing to do. And they're not really looking at it. They want, you know, a short. They want success short term. They want it now, kind of thing. Podcasts, as everyone probably knows by now, they're going to cost you a lot more money than they make you early doors.
For sure.
But
I can tell you that.
But this is what I'm saying. Everyone, like, for example, Free Shots have been going now 5 years, I think it is. Halfcast almost 7 years.
Yep.
There's a reason that they're in the position they're in. It's because of consistency over time, longevity.
Yeah.
People know their characters. They trust them. They see Chucky as a friend, even if you've never met him and you're from Swindon or some
They're
mad
buying
place.
into him, whether he started a new podcast or not.
It doesn't matter what it is. You feel like you know this person.
Yeah.
And that is half of it. But if you're not in it long enough to be able to establish that relationship with anyone that's listening, and you want 10,000 listeners on your first episode, it doesn't work like that. Make yourself consistent, make yourself balanced, think of what's next as well, because the podcasts have changed over time. It was primarily a music podcast before. Now it still has that kind of niche, but it's talk about absolutely anything and everything. And
I guess that gives you more discussion points.
Exactly. Right? And there's always things to discuss, but you need to have. And also, do you know what? Let me just keep it as real as it can be. Not all podcasts can be good. Some of them are shit.
How do you know?
2 years, no progress? None?
Savage!
What?
Savage just activated. He said none. Like
But what I'm saying is, like, there has to, if it's good.
Yeah, but you need people to be able to just give you that.
Yeah, as in, like, if it's good, and then it will get better.
Yeah.
And especially if you evolve,
especially if you put 2 years into something, all expenditure. That's a lot of investment.
That's it. It's a lot of investment, and at some point you're gonna have to realize people are, for whatever reason, aren't interested in this or what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm better off doing something else. You know, like the problem may not necessarily be you, but it's the podcast as a whole. You know, it could be
the concept.
Yeah, it could be the concept. It could be how you're promoting it. It could be something. But if you don't make these changes to try and kick this on, then you're just trying to squeeze blood out of a stone, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? You still come here, or you go to whatever studio and you pay your money for it. But really, you want to start seeing some results eventually. 100%.
So just because the crypto space is a bit of a turn.
Yeah.
What got you into that?
Risk again.
Yeah, but how did it even come?
Do you know what? In 2017, 2017, I can't remember. You see, like, people were just talking about Bitcoin. It was bubbling a little bit. Not much.
Yeah.
But there were people talking about it. And I'm one of those people that if I hear an opportunity to make money, then I'm in it. And I remember them times it was a proper seedy way you had to buy Bitcoin. It wasn't like now where you can kind of just set your bank up to. I had to like send some person basically like on Gumtree almost some money, but I had to send it with like a picture of me saying like, this is my passport.
The exchanges,
this is me.
That,
it was nuts. It was nuts. It felt mad. Like, why am I paying 10 grand? Like, who am I even paying it to? It was weird. Like, you could easily have just got sucked.
So you heard that this is a way to make money.
Yeah.
But did you have any like people that had made money in that game, or?
I hadn't personally. I'd heard people talking of people.
You didn't know no one directly, and you still went in. Wow, you have a proper risk.
I knew a couple of people that I was in, but people making money with £60 and turning that £60 into £80 and all of that.
Okay,
so as in terms of percentages, it's good, but in terms of actual money, it's not.
Right.
So I just threw 10 grand at it straight away.
That's a big lump as well.
And yeah. But immediately it went up to like 75 bags. Quick, just you're buying almost news. You're on YouTube and you're doing weird things, and all of a sudden your portfolio.
So you were putting in the work to find out what's going on.
Yeah, but do you know what? I wasn't. I was just watching YouTube. And hearing
some people don't even put that work in.
Yeah, and gambling on people's.
That's education for me. That's like lectures, bro.
Yeah,
because you're learning.
It's no different really to what Bitcoin is now in essence, in terms of it's always a risk. It's always
obviously it's more high profile. You got all these people accepting it, etc.
Exactly.
So what's your advice for people who are kind of thinking about investing in the crypto space
now?
Yeah.
What's it? It's the 31st. You haven't got long.
You haven't got long.
You got to do this like now. If you're going to pull the trigger, now is it. Otherwise, you're going to get caught at the mid or end cycle. Don't get twisted. Bitcoin's here to stay and crypto's here to stay. But in terms of these huge flips and numbers,
you want to get in early.
These can't continue forever. It's just not how money works. For every winner, there is a loser somewhere. Like you don't want to be the person, for example, that gets involved in something 8 weeks after I told you to do it, because then I'm dumping my bags on you. It sounds crazy, and I don't mean to dump my bags on you, but when I'm looking to sell is when you're still buying, and that helps someone like me. So I'm saying you haven't got long. I personally think we've got till towards the end of this year in terms of bull market. It'll be steadier than it was in 2017, and so will the consolidation period where it comes down slightly. But like I spent so many years getting this wrong, and so many months. I got this wrong like 2 months ago. I'm losing money left, right, and center. Yeah. But then I'll catch a big win.
Well, you just heard about this crypto thing and was like, you know what? Let me just throw some peas at this, and it worked.
That's it. And it has to be peas that in your head
you can afford to lose.
You can afford to lose. This can't be like this is my everything. If this goes, I'm in the mess, because crypto, as people know, is so volatile that it's driving people to insanity right now. It's crazy. Yeah. There is opportunity to make money, but it's educated. Be sensible. Find dips. Take profits.
Yeah.
I don't take profits, but take profits.
Yeah. I heard that's the way to go. I heard that's the way to go. But
I've got a plan.
Hands,
obviously Twitter is a good place for information. It's a bit of an echo chamber sometimes, but it is what it is. And just don't get too overconfident. I'm seeing a lot of people right now making money, and they think they will leave with this money, and they won't.
There's no exit plan.
It's not even an exit plan. It does get taken from you that fast unless you're on the ball and you have a look at macro. Anyone can trade a bull market. Anyone can trade. You can throw money at literally anything right now, and you're gonna get a return. It might be 10%, might be 100%, might be 500%. You're gonna get a return, a positive return. Bear markets is when you see beasts.
Tricky.
Yeah.
Okay. Just in terms of like people that have influenced you, though, that have helped you along the way.
Yeah.
Anyone that stands out?
Helped me along the way.
Influenced. Let's go influence versus help.
I'll go Mayweather.
Yeah. I
looked at him, and I remember, like now he does flamboyant stuff that's almost childish.
I love it.
I love it. Yeah. I love it as well, because in my head, all I'm saying is he earned this.
100%.
No one did the running.
And this is what, when I see it, people are like, oh, he's this flash. I'm like,
he earned this. You couldn't do what he did.
Do what the hell he wants.
He ran all them miles.
What's so crazy is, when he went undefeated, it's now boxers don't think like they can lose.
Yeah.
Before him, it was okay to lose. He did this.
Yeah. It almost damaged boxing. It had damaged boxing a little bit.
You get that one in your record and you're like,
for me, he's the only person ever to have beaten the sport of boxing. I say that by saying
come out unfazed.
All his faculties, all the money, he stole every cent.
He stole and then went to another sport
and he left his O.
Some more.
And he left his O. He kept it like it's.
He went to another sport to take some more with McGregor.
It's nuts. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy what he's done. And in terms of like legacy, a lot of people will look at it and be like, nah, I'm not sure. Everyone prefers humble and classy and stuff like that. But some people have earned it, and it's just not his personality. He does what he wants. He earned it.
I like it.
That's it.
So, what challenges are you facing right now, though, as a studio?
Right now, my biggest challenge, I'd say, is that I'm working too much. I'm a bit of a workaholic, probably makes up for the 25 years where I didn't work at all.
But when you say you're working too much, is that because you have to?
It's because I'm not great at delegating.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to do a lot of things myself,
hands-on.
and because of it, I work 7 days a week, probably 80 hours a week. Like I'm here like a lot.
Yeah. Because people want you to, like, for example, if you were like to me, oh, meet Richard, like he's gonna deal with your thing today, I'll probably be like, oh, when you about?
Yeah, it happens like that.
Because now we know you can deliver.
Exactly.
It's harder.
Yeah. So it's and also I got 2 kids, and in a perfect world, I'd want to be able to spend, you know, an entire Sunday with them, or an entire, you know, after school. Like I work a lot of evenings, I work a lot of weekends. It's all good for now, and you gotta get in, you gotta make the money. But I'm now creating a plan whereby this place can survive with less of me. Not survive, but thrive with less of me. So weekends,
So you're working on that.
Yeah. So I just literally on Wednesday just brought someone else in to basically almost be my double and do.
Yeah. Was that like an interview process? You kind of sounded it
the
out?
the most informal interview ever.
You got a job.
Yeah.
Them guys they can get sacked quick. Them
guys can get sacked fast. You mess up once. Yeah.
He's like, sorry, savage time, bro. Come on. All right, cool. No, so what you see for now, like obviously you got a diverse portfolio, etc. But how do you stay on top of things? Like, how do you keep on top of the game? Your phone.
Honestly, everything is in this. Everything. So I'm quite. It's weird because I wasn't always very organized, but now when people put things in, it's just booked in, or it's just bam, 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 and I know things that I have to do because if I don't, people chase me for audio, for a master, for this, for a session. Oh, can I do this? Blah 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 blah. Which is why I'm pretty much at capacity now. I'm probably at 99%, and I do need to. I guess I need to start giving some responsibility elsewhere. In terms of my work, there's 2 other engineers here, who basically work for themselves to just do their own thing essentially. But I now need someone who works for me.
Okay. What would you like? Has there been anyone you've worked with, whether it's a client or just a business partner, one of the like household names that's just changed the way you do things? They've just like there's a certain way they do things that you're just like, you know what, I've got to operate differently just based on the way this person moves.
Nah,
not really. No.
Not really.
You're just kind of like,
I kind of do my thing, and it seems to work. I don't think there's anyone I've worked with, and I've completely taken what they've done in terms of how they organize things or how they produce. Maybe certain things in terms of, you know, Rewind, they are like big players in this media game in terms of a lot of things we see, we don't realize, but they've produced it. So just little tips. I feel like
I've seen that at the end of a TV show or something.
You see it in a lot of places, definitely, especially on YouTube, on Instagram. You'll see it 100%. But I guess I look at what they do and just try and copy it a little bit.
Okay, yeah, because I say, you got to learn from somewhere. Yeah,
But I learned majority from myself. But then I just take little bits.
But it sounds like YouTube's your source. That's your like go-to, maybe.
Nah.
It's a mix.
It's just a mix. Sometimes I just try and logically work it out myself, you know, and just figure. But do you know what? I've been doing it for a long time, so there's less for me to work out. A lot of my business, apart from the studio, a lot of it just runs off me being me. So
they're buying into.
As in even scripts and stuff like that. If I'm doing any stuff like that, I kind of always say to them, I don't want one. I work better slightly just
Freestyle.
off the cuff.
Yeah. Okay. No takes on that one. Okay, say no more, man. And is there anything that keeps you up at night right now?
Kids. Well, my daughter's pissing me off, man.
How old is she?
She's 2. My son's 5. He sleeps fine. My daughter gets up every night.
She's literally keeping you up.
Yes.
Not even like I'm thinking about.
No. As in like she is just like she's like my proper princess, and she's a daddy's girl.
Yeah.
And like for example, if she gets out of her room, comes into my bed, she's sleeping in my spine. So now I can't sleep.
In yours.
That's it. Or she comes up, she's asking me to go toilet. and I have to walk her to the toilet and stuff like that. She's super advanced for a 2-year-old, but she's the only thing really that keeps me. Do you know what? Honestly, like thank God I'm quite balanced. I don't really have. You see, like there's people that obviously suffer with anxiety and loads of different things. I can honestly, hand on heart, say I don't really know what that feels like. So I'm saying I kind of get up and I just get on with my day. It's all, I probably live my life a little bit selfishly in terms of like I just kind of concentrate on my world, what's in my immediate world, and not much beyond that.
Okay. So I got one for you though. This is a bit of an interesting one, yeah. So because you got experience in this podcast game, if you were in my shoes now, what would you ask yourself to give the people some gems, just so the listeners can take something away from your journey, just to make sure they should really know this.
Cool. I would say, business-wise, yeah, study your market. Study who your client is, work towards them. So for example, when I built this studio, I'm from the ends. I'm very aware that half of the people that come here smoke. There's part of me that was like, all right, cool. Should I make it so that you can smoke in the studio? But then the better half of me was just like, no. Because even people that smoke don't want to go into a studio that's hotboxed. And it just smells of dro as soon as you get in there. You want it to feel nicer. Do you see what I'm saying? Even if you smoke. So I made an executive decision, even though it would benefit a lot of people to be able to smoke in the studios, that no, there's no smoking in the studios.
Regardless of who you are.
Regardless.
Lil Wayne comes in here.
Regardless. You could do it, but this is going to cost you a few bags.
You got to pay that
hotel
fee.
This is going to cost you money.
The credit card
money.
At the reception,
But yeah, and then just study, like have a look, and also I tell you one of the biggest things, I remember speaking to people about opening a studio, and people weren't sure about it, just like, nah, I don't know if that's gonna work. You have to try not hit any of that, in the sense of you can see what you see. They can't see.
Oh, so you had people telling you, nah.
Of course I had a couple of people like, are you sure? Like,
Brethrens,
yeah, like, are you not? Yeah, and just people. I'm talking even parents.
And
my dad was just,
vision.
You can't see it because you're not.
But what did they want for you? What did they want for you if it weren't going to be this?
Well, my mum was fine. My mum was pretty much just like, do what you want.
Yeah.
As in he would. It's more secure to go and get a job.
Of course.
Do you see what I'm saying? I'm saying do what makes you happy, and try. Obviously, when people have reservations about, oh no, what about that? That won't work. Take it on board, but just problem solve it.
100%. All right, cool. That's dope still to listen to. But obviously, part of this podcast, we got quickfire round, 5 questions.
Yeah.
First thing that comes to your head.
Cool.
Literally just rain it off. First. You ready?
Yeah.
One thing that you can't live without.
iPhone.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No. Oh, but you can do Android then?
Nah. I've tried.
You said you tried it. One thing that you need to be successful.
Ambition.
One thing that brings you happiness.
My kids.
If you had one wish, what would it be?
Oof.
Anything.
Happiness for me and for absolutely everyone I care about.
Just whatever they want.
Yeah, no. I'm talking happiness. You see, like
the feeling.
Yeah, I'm not like, even though like I make enough money, but I'm talking about happiness. Like I'm naturally just a happy person. I genuinely feel blessed to be like happy. I have very few days where I'm just down in the dumps or whatever it is. Like I'm a happy.
You're doing what you love, though.
Yeah,
it helps.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's what I want. I want for everyone. I want everyone to be able to just be happy. That feeling.
Okay. And then one thing that you would advise a younger version of you.
Don't get caught.
Don't get caught. Regardless. In any way. Whatever you do it, don't get caught, basically. I feel you. That's dope still. No, thank you very much, bro. Honestly, that was dope. That was you can tell that you've been doing this. Like the savage come out. Yeah. Just get me, but that's dope still. But where can people connect with you? Whether it's to book studio time or just to connect with you on what you've done and get some tips or whatever?
Yeah, man. It's savagedan10 is on Insta. That's probably the best place to find me for studios as well. And yeah, like I would not yet 2 secs. Someone, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? I'm gonna crop their file. Just for you lot. Listen. Yeah. savagedan10. It's Jukebox Studios, but to be fair, I never go on that Instagram anyway. So I'm one of the easiest people to find, I guess.
So you never go on the Jukebox?
I never. Never.
Bad DMs.
Never.
Bad DMs need to get redirected, boy. So madness. All right, cool, bro. And then just to close, can I get a $5, bro?
Got it in the car.
Guy, bro. The man that run the car once is a lie, bro. It's a lie. You know, I'm only gonna come up. All the episodes man's done.
I know.
One $5.
Listen, and the worst thing is I knew it was coming, obviously, and I forgot the $5.
Bro, I feel like everyone knows.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't
Everyone
know,
knows.
they're like,
Everyone
is
knows.
he gonna
Yeah,
ask me
yeah,
this?
yeah.
They don't give a shit. They don't care.
I'm Monzo it, man.
Yeah, whatever,
Love,
bro.
bro.
No, thank you very much, bro. I appreciate it. As I said, bag of gems. There's so many people that want to go into the music game, the podcast game, whether it's crypto, shows, and you basically, literally, you're at the top of that across the board, basically. So there's a lot to learn from and experience. So honestly, people, subscribe to the channel so you can get more of this side. So you can learn. Obviously, if we haven't covered what you're into so far, we'll get there. Subscribe so you can hear about it and you know about it first. Thank you very much. Peace.
What you cooking, man?